Good morning, everybody. I want to thank everybody who made this conference and this panel happen. I want to thank Dr. Abdul Hadi, Dr. Said, Dr. Saida, Dr. Khalid, Noor, Dr. Mahir, as well as our moderator, Dr. Muhammad. As part of anti-colonial frameworks in scholarship and activism, my presentation will discuss the campus control policies at San Francisco State University and its redefinition and deployment against student and faculty organizers. My presentation focuses on the latest episode of the overt and institutional collusion between the Office of the Dean of Students and the SFSU Police Department. On invitation from the San Francisco chapter of the main multinational student organization Hillel, Nir Barakat, the mayor of occupied Jerusalem, was scheduled to visit and speak at San Francisco State in April of 2016. In response, the students of the General Union of Palestine Students led a demonstration countering his visit. In his role as mayor of occupied Jerusalem, Barakat is an architect of apartheid, colonialism, and the violence against Palestinians. Those who demonstrated against Barakat did so with the fundamental understanding that anti-Zionist and anti-colonial struggles for justice and liberation engage the question of discourse, space, and power on our college campuses. The students chanted with the aid of mobile microphone systems for nearly 45 minutes during Barakat's speech. Ultimately, 2 of GUP's students, demonstrators, who led the chants were subjected to student conduct hearings, where they were found guilty of breaking university regulations on amplified sound codes and were put on probation, as was the GUPS organization. In the media, these 2 women, as well as 5 other student demonstrators, were placed on Zionist Blacklist website, Canary Mission. They became the subject of online harassment, threats of rape and death, and had their employers called demanding they be fired, and were stalked on campus, surveyed while in the organization's office, and were followed to their cars in the parking lots after class. This was done with complete impunity, as university officials, fully aware of this harassment, took no action beyond suggesting they request police escort. This brings us to the question of police on college campuses and their role in protecting the interests of neoliberal and the colonial university. What is most important from the Barakat protest are the university administrators' discussions both before and after the demonstration. The police chief communicated with university administrators that his plan, this contingency plan of the protest is twofold. First is to erect a designated protest area outside of the room of speech. Second is to issue citizens' arrest forms to Hillel members to use against the Palestinian demonstrators. It is police chief's second suggestion to issue citizens' arrest forms that lays the foundation of escalated and institutionalized police collusion within the operations of the Dean of Students. Prior to the Barakat protest, the police were seen as an auxiliary force that was called in by the university administration at their discretion. Yet the newly implemented campus control policy put in place because of the Barakat protest included a 5-step intervention guideline that requires the police to be present at every demonstration. And it has codified into official policy the arrest of students, and that demands that the police coordinate with the Dean of Students and their designees. That summer, the Office of the Dean of Students and the University Police Department held department-wide joint training sessions of the new regulations where they used the example of the Barakat protest. This raises the question, this raises the question of who will conduct these arrests. So the Dean of Students has already noted in public forum, campus-wide public forum, that if the police find no legal reason to arrest demonstrating students, the dean will send a designee to conduct the citizen's arrest. Those who will be tasked with the charge are mid-level staff, those whose contracted jobs are to help students navigate the resources of the university, but whose employment has been co-opted for the use of student surveillance and policing. And so this raises the issue that if ordered to arrest students, will these individuals comply? Will they resign and protest, or not comply and be fired for insubordination? such questions are intrinsically rooted in the neoliberalism of the university. For example, what we know from Freedom of Information Act requests that are linked to the lawsuit that is attacking Dr. Abdul Hadi, the San Francisco State University's president's emails regarding the protest note a conversation that happens between the Koch brothers and university administrators. And now the Koch brothers are they're multi-billion dollar developers and Zionists. And they attempted in these negotiations to strong-arm the university into expelling the Palestinian students during their contract negotiations, and over a $1 million grant. Let me repeat this. I'm so sorry, I had it written, but I paraphrased. So we found that the Koch brothers, who are multi-billion dollar developers and Zionists, had attempted to strong-arm the university into expelling the Palestinian student demonstrators during the Koch brothers and SFSU's negotiations over a $1 million grant to the university. The Koch brothers pulled out of their grant offer after Gups was put on probation and not expelled by the Director of Student Services, who conducted the student hearings. Soon after, that director was fired from the university in what clearly made him a scapegoat for the university from Zionist pressures. How this is made possible is that the employees of the Office of the Administrators are at-will employees that are not contracted or protected by unions. And so those who do not follow the line of that the university sets face repercussions, which include retaliation, firing, and placing them on blacklists from future employment at other respective universities. What this does then is raise the issue of labor and student rights, as the neoliberalism of universities have gutted hard-fought-for labor protections and has laid serious doubt that any member of the administration can fairly oversee any issue concerning Palestine and anti-colonial organizing and scholarship. Now, one thing that Dr. Abdul Hadi mentioned in her speech was the Know Your Rights Fair. I know that we're strapped for time, but so what I'm going to do is, if those who are interested, we are leading a workshop at 1 to 2. And so if those who are interested, I can definitely talk about the operationalization of Zionism and neoliberalism during that workshop as it operated through the Know Your Rights Fair. Thank you.